here we go, class. We are on career profile number 2. And this time I chose for career profile a grief counselor. The sample organization that I used was Grinnell Regional Medical Center. I found that looking through a job app, and they happened to have an opening, and so I looked into their job skills. There was also Hospice Visions Incorporated in various places like that. And the place to contact them would be either their HR or their application was through a website called Indeeds.com. So that's what I had on that. The working environment for being a grief counselor can vary greatly. One of the lowest places I saw was you can volunteer in a veterinary clinic and be there for the grief of somebody who's lost their pets. And that kind of rang close because I have a dear friend who just lost both of her dogs within the last 24 hours. And I know she is somebody who actually probably does need grief counseling, and because her pets were her babies. So you can do that, or you can go on to, you can volunteer on hotline services, you can volunteer at different, hospitals and various places. Another thing, you can also be employed within a school district. You can be employed at home hospice cares and facilities, a hospice hospital, regular hospitals. I think you could be funeral homes. You can be, seems like just about anywhere where somebody might be dealing with grief with a lost one. And I can see where this kind of training might also be helpful if you are in a public service position, as in a police officer or a paramedic, where you are dealing with people who are dealing with loss immediately right then, are delivering information of loss to various people, when they're dealing with accidents and things of that sort. So I would think some of the stressors, the typical stressors that you would be dealing with, is a lot of times you are dealing with people at the most vulnerable time of their life, when they're dealing with the loss of a loved one, whether it be expected or unexpected. And really, I'm kind of drawing for the experience I've had with my mom being on hospice the last 6 months and passing away, and the things that the hospice workers had to deal with my father and my family. And one of the things I know would be very frustrating to me was dealing with the displaced anger of the situation. And so that would be directed at you sometimes because you're the person there. You would be dealing with, what was the other things I came up with? Sometimes crazy hours, depending on where you work. You might be on-call situations, so you may be woken up out of bed to come in and help, especially if you're working in a hospice situation. If the patient is, on their last few, minutes of life, you may need to come in and deal with the family at that point. So to me, it would be kind of the grief, and then maybe even dysfunctional families, where you have some people who are angry and don't want to deal with the death, or the people who are, couldn't care less, and all the dynamics that go along in a family that are exacerbated at this time. Benefits of working in this job: if you are volunteering, honestly, I think the benefits are the good feeling that you get for helping people, and work experience that you can put on a resume. Then if you are working for a hospital or employed someplace like that, you can expect, if you're employed full-time, you can expect the full benefits of health insurance and vacation and sick days. Some places I noticed offer life insurance and long-term care insurance. Some even offer to have a discretionary spending fund, especially if you are traveling to various homes and dealing with the needs of patients. You may need a discretionary expense account. So some of the common job tasks, it really depends on where you are working. You could be on a hotline situation where you were just taking phone calls and listening and counseling. You could be, I noticed that some of them, if it's related to a hospital, you may need an RN degree, be a nurse. And then also you have other job skills to fill. I noticed in the hospice situation, they wanted you to be able to deal with referrals and admitting people into the hospice program. You would be overseeing patient care, dealing with the staff, hospice staff, and with the patients and their families. You'd be dealing with companies that were bringing in equipment. You'd be dealing, with the doctors coming in, and then also the bereavement, also of the family. So there's many hats that you can wear in this position. So it's not just the grief counseling. And then also you would be required to need to know the various agencies that can help people in the situation of losing a loved one. You would need to probably have on hand a funeral home or mortuary. Probably need to have connections to the various religious sects in the area so that you can bring in a priest or a bishop or a minister, somebody, for whatever religion that they are dealing with, if any at all. You would probably need to know, as far as dealing with county agencies, who needs to be picking up a body and that type of information. Also, there could be traveling. If the person who's passed away is not in the area, they want to have the burial someplace else, you might be able to help with having information on traveling and how that works with transporting bodies, and florists in the area, various situations like that. You can have those handy to help the families with. The educational requirements really vary, again, as much as the job. If you are working as a volunteer in the pet hospital, they might just interview you on site and say, yeah, we like you, go ahead and come in and work. If you are I don't know if I want to say full counselor, but you can come in with a bachelor's degree and assist and have a supervisor over you. If you want to be the grief counselor, the main position, you do need an undergraduate degree. Could be in psychology, could be in family studies, could be in social sciences, and then they suggest a master's degree also in psychology or clinical counseling, and so forth. It can also have your degree connected to a theological degree or a nursing degree, depending on the area that you're going to be working in. The salary range, the low seemed to be at $43,000 a year, and the high at $68,000. And the place I got my information is from counselorlicensing.com, various job listings, and from a site called Association for Death Education and Counseling, which seems to be their main place to help with licensing and so forth in the area. Okay, thank you. Hope this helped everyone.